$100K. Comfort Center Furniture is expanding their workforce. Apply in-store at Comfort Center locations in Gaylord, Grayling, or Prudenville. Comfort Center Furniture is an equal opportunity employer.
22 million albums sold worldwide. Live Friday, October 10th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Showtime 8 p.m. Tickets start at $47 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Modern Rock Powerhouse live. Live at Soaring Eagle Casino, Friday, October 10th. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
It's time for the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show on Up North Sports Radio with your host, Rich Calkins.
Chevrolet in Gaylord, dedicated to providing the best customer service and the best offers. Jim Wording, Chevrolet.com. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning, and we're also getting started here. This is week number 1, as most games got kicked off on Thursday night this week, and we're also had a few games played last night, JC.
Yeah, a crazy schedule.
Yep, with the holiday weekend. We'll get back to our norm next week.
Well, no, there's still games on Thursday next week, right?
Most everybody's playing Friday night of next week, yeah. But right, in some weeks we've had the Thursday. Thursday starts, and so it is. Sometimes the schedule is a little messed up for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was paying attention a little bit. I think we mentioned it yesterday that Cass Tech was playing Toledo Catholic Central in the big game that they have at Wayne State. Cass Tech, defending state champions. Toledo Catholic Central, who plays in the Catholic League here in Detroit, but of course in Ohio, they've won 2 of the last 3 state championships. But they had already lost a game to Toledo Jesuit, which is a big game.
Wow!
So just very briefly, I was paying attention to that game. And Toledo Catholic Central came out. They were leading 20-0, and Cass Tech came back to win 28-27.
Did they really? Wow!
And Toledo Catholic Central missed a 45-yarder on the last play of the game. But what a tremendous high school football game! How did St. Francis do?
St. Francis got off to a great start with a big 30-6 win over Glen Lake. So Coach Josh Sellers really got that roll again, celebrating their 75th anniversary of high school football there at St. Francis. And so, definitely a dominating win last night for them, for the Gladiators. And, of course, Josh has been doing this quite a while now. He's got a few state championships under his belt, knows what he's doing. His father passed away. He was a longtime coach there. And
yes. I'm sure they got patches on there.
I wouldn't be surprised, for sure. Yeah, but his dad, Larry Sellers, I think he won 3 state championships himself. So, that's quite a family tradition there, passing on from one to the other and getting these state championships. And I'll mention a few other scores that took place, some games of interest last night, as we're getting a hold of Kevin O'Connell, head coach from Gaylord St. Mary's. But some of the games last night being played, Boyne in Alpena had a real tight ball game played in Alpena, with Boyne coming out on top 18-13. So that was a real interesting score. Boyne stepping up a couple of divisions there to play a bigger school in Alpena. But DJ Shimoniak in his first year at Alpena, he definitely will get things turned around there. Also in a close ball game, low-scoring affair, Sheboygan beat Sault Ste. Marie 19-7. And Manton all over Vesterberg 44-0 in a big scoring game. And Bear Lake, what a win over Bel Air, 54-0.
Wow.
Huge win for Bear Lake in there. So, also Brown City over Mesick 46-0.
Good morning, sir. Hold on a second.
Again, joining us now is Kevin O'Connell, head coach of Gaylord St. Mary's. And Kevin, what a way to start the season with a huge 30-9 win over traditionally tough Rudyard.
Traditionally tough and equally as tough. They don't have the Jimmies and Josephs as they've had in the past with the Suggett kid and the Bicknell kid. But, Coach Suggett does an outstanding job with what he has. And they come off the ball low and hard, and they gave us a lesson in toughness. And it was a good ball. It was a good ball game. I think playing Pickford in the scrimmage,
right,
along with Onekama and Breckenridge, kind of helped us get used to that physicality. That's why we did that. So it was a physical ball game. It was a decent first half, very sloppy second half with a lot of young mistakes that we need to clean up. But we'll definitely take the W, Rich.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Kevin, of course, we always, when we talk about St. Mary's, the small private school it is, we always talk about numbers. How are the numbers this year on the varsity squad?
Great. We're looking at 34 in the program. Mm-hmm. We split them up about even. I think we dressed about 16 for varsity. So, yeah, we got 34 in the program. So,
pretty good.
We got a balanced system. Yep. Things are going well.
Yeah. No, that's excellent, Kevin. That sounds very, for eight-player football, right now, Kevin, you'll take that, I believe.
Yeah, I think we're one of the only, I-Lakes, their enrollment is 3 times ours.
Yeah.
But, they're like 210. We're at 72.
Yeah, there you go.
We're only one of 2 schools in the conference that have a JV team, and so it's difficult to find JV teams in Northern Michigan that have JV programs, schools that have JV programs. So We're very fortunate that we can get some JV games in, and I think we're probably at or about a full schedule for our JV, which is huge for the development of those young guys.
Well, we'll say some rosaries. I know you've had a lot of injuries last few years, Coach, and it'd be nice to get through a season healthy with your full complement of players.
Jerry, I appreciate that, but, thanks for the jinx. Right off the bat, things are going well.
I said rosary. There's no jinx when you talk rosary.
Well, I appreciate you prefaced it with the rosary, but you're gonna have to add a few more decades there, brother. Because knock on wood.
Yeah.
At this year's injuries.
Kevin will step out of the truck and break his ankle. That'll be, we can live with that.
We've been very fortunate. Injuries are Last year we got really kicked in the teeth.
Oh yeah.
And this year, knock on wood, we're having bruises and a jammed thumb here and there, but that's normal stuff. So nothing that's going to take a kid out of a quarter, let alone a series.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, talking about your team this year, who are some of the kids that you're looking forward to in a leadership role? And you mentioned there were some young mistakes, so it sounds like you might have some young guys you're counting on again this year.
Yeah, we jokingly say we have 2 JV teams. Seriously, on offense we start 6 sophomores and 2 juniors, and on defense we start 5 sophomores and 3 juniors.
Wow.
Yeah, you're not a kidding then.
We're not kidding. No, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, woe is me, our sophomores, we're just young.
Right.
The sophomores are very good athletically, but you know as well as I do, they're not seniors. They don't have those extra 24 game reps. So they're missing that game experience, but athletically, talent-wise, yeah, they're very, very good, but they don't have the experience, and there's no substitution for experience on the field on a Friday night, and so we're lacking that. We make some sophomore 15-year-old mistakes where they're just stupid, but we're looking good. So to answer your question, we're waiting for David Wall to come back. I mean, he had a season-ending ACL surgery last year.
Okay,
and he's one of our captains. And then Charlie Cameron and Chummy are the other 2 captains. Not real vocal, but one's a junior, one's a sophomore, one's a senior. Not real vocal, but that leadership type, that quiet leadership.
Sure. Yeah, leads by example. Not, like you said, not the most vocal person, but hey, it's leadership, right, Coach?
Yeah. And quite honestly, we could have chosen about 3 other kids that just have incredible buy-in and are, live, eat, and breathe football. And, it was a tough choice. But I'm happy with where we're at.
Yeah, well, good. Kevin, taking a look at that Ski Valley Conference that you guys play in, who do you think is going to be towards the top when it's all said and done?
Hopefully us.
Yeah, I like that answer.
I love it.
Yeah, us. It's
we
us.
We have a showdown week 9 with I Lakes, which for the past 3, 4, 5 years, it's always been a showdown. Past 2 years, they've kicked us in the teeth, and not that we expect payback. We're not like that, but we know it's. I mean, I'd be lying to say that game isn't circled in red ink on our calendar every year. Yeah, we know that's a heck of a game for us, and it's not a kumbaya session. I wouldn't say there's a lot of love spread out on the field either. So, but yeah, it's a good, hard-nosed game, and they've gotten us the past 2 years. I don't know much about Central Lake. We have them. They knocked off Marion the other night, and they changed up their personnel and they did some things. But Central Lake, I know some of the other teams and are relatively down by their own admission. So, to answer your question, the Ski Valley, I would like to say it's between I Lakes and us.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, looking at your non-conference schedule there, you've got some interesting matchups there, a Breckenridge team, a Holton team, things like that. Now, you obviously have a little bit to do with the schedule. Teams that maybe you looked as that could possibly really get your team ready for hopefully a long playoff run.
Yeah, we definitely want to put some ringers in there. And, we knew Rudyard was going to be tough. They always have been, by tradition. We knew I Lakes. Breckenridge is new to our schedule. We've always scrimmaged them.
Where the hell is that school at?
They are about 5 miles east of Elma in a giant cornfield. Just look for the giant silos, and you're in the ridge, baby.
There you go. All right.
And so they're going to come up. They are very talented. We saw them in the scrimmage, and Coach Gregory just hasn't done an outstanding job down there. He's got talent, and it's going to be I wouldn't say it's going to be a head knocker because they don't run a physical brand of offense, but it's going to be a very, very good game. Week 7, Week 8, we play Holton. Don't know much about them. They're just joining 8-man this year. I think they're a larger school. I think they had trouble competing 11. So, hey, when you have trouble competing 11, go to 8, right?
Yeah. Sure.
I remember that conversation with you, Coach.
Yeah. That's the wrong rationale, I will tell you that, because I will just tell you, just go play Pickford, and you'll realize that it's a different brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the hell no, I'm never doing 8-man football from Kevin O'Connell. Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad you remember that. That's great. Thanks for remembering me too. Yeah.
I have it built in my mind that I convinced you that you could do 8-man football, but
you were probably one of the. Going, what is 8-man football really like? What is this game?
What is this?
Right. Yeah. No, it's an interesting conversion over, isn't it, Kevin?
Defensively, yes, it is, and it'll make you pound your head against the wall because you're like, where's my overhang? I have an even number. This sucks. I want an odd number. Give me an odd number, please.
Right.
Nope, you only have even. Well, all right. You better be good at tackling, Johnny. All right.
Speaking of your 8-man team, Coach, you mentioned that Holton or Breckenridge not that physical. What do you like about the team? What does the team need to improve on?
This year, I thought the scrimmage exposed a lot. I thought we were physical against Pickford, and we were fundamentally sound. We were not scheme-oriented, meaning we didn't want to win a scrimmage. We, against Rudyard, were not as fundamentally sound on defense, meaning we were high tackling. And their quarterback and running back were very good, but they slipped a lot of tackles. But we were not fundamentally sound tackling-wise, so we weren't as physical in that aspect. I thought the linebackers downhill filled their windows very well. Corners were disciplined. Pad level needs to change on both sides of the ball. But we're talking about little things, Jerry, that are fixable. We're not like, oh, my goodness, we're going to need to find a 3-tech because, Johnny's getting rolled over.
Right.
No, we're just talking about stepping play side foot with a little bit more, getting the second foot down, better hand placement, pad level, the little things, But physicality is always one of them, too, getting off the ball and being physical and matching their physicality.
What about, are you slinging it more or running, what kind of O-sets?
We're all over the place. It was the first play of the game Thursday was like a 50, 60-yard bomb.
Wow.
Yeah, we threw. Well, we knew their corner was a freshman, and we wanted to pick on him early, so...
I love it. Yeah,
that's a Lou Holtz maneuver if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, that's we had a little baptism by fire. Oh, you're going to start a freshman at corner.
Yeah.
All right. We got a pretty good kid that runs pretty good routes. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Boom. So we throw a post route, touchdown, woo, and then we go crazy, and then we settle in and started, sharing blows with, body blow, knockout.
Yeah.
We did. Because they're a physical offense. They line up double tight and pound it down you. So, to answer your question, we are slinging it more. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we're changing our personnel around. So we got some good receivers that aren't good running backs, and we got some running backs that aren't the best of receivers. So it allows us to change our personnel. So, but yeah, we are making a concerted effort to throw the ball at least 10 to 12 times a game.
Yeah, no, that's great, Kevin. To be able a little more balanced.
It's about time you threw the football. Jesus.
I tell you what, it's difficult because when you got Logan Grenier and Calvin Skoronsky and Cal Royce in the backfield, you're like, we don't need to pass the ball. We can just hand it off to these giant mooses.
Sure.
Moose, and we're going to get 4 yards a pop either way. You're like, why would we pass the ball? You're like, because it does help, So.
It does.
And keeping them softened up. Coach, we got to let you go, but one big question. So Notre Dame being quarterbacked by a University of Michigan coach, grandson, how conflicted are you?
Not at all. I met Coach Carr years ago at a clinic. This is about 25 years ago. And he never wore a tie. He always wore the sport coat and the turtleneck.
Yep.
He was one of the nicest, most ingratiating gentlemen I've ever met in my life. And then the next year, he probably didn't remember me from Adam, but he shook my hand and said, "Hey, Coach, how are you? How's the best?" And he acted like we had been friends for 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the greatest men. I know he's a Michigan man, but one of the greatest men I've ever met. And so there is no conflict there. As long as he leads the Irish to victory, I don't care where he goes to school.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I was fortunate enough to interact with Coach Carr a number of times, and he had a different cat for a very successful collegiate football coach. You don't see many guys like him.
No, you don't, and you probably won't ever again.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So, CJ, look, it sounds like he's. We'll see tomorrow night. So
tomorrow night.
Yeah. All right.
That was you.
All right.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Rich.
All right. You never disappoint, Kevin.
Yeah. Perk up. Get some coffee going.
Go Snowbirds. All right. Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, bat and lead off. We have him bat lead off for a reason.
Wow,
I know it.
I'm fired up. Let's go tackle.
That was
somebody.
A cup of jolt right there for sure to start the show. Yeah, Kevin just doing a great job there at St. Mary's. All right, when we come back, we will get a hold of Eric Sugars, head coach of Traverse City Central, coming off a huge win down at Novi on Thursday night. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Jim Wernig Chevrolet in Gaylord, dedicated to providing the best customer service and the best offers.
Just like Northern Michigan High School athletes, Saab relies on trust, drive, and expertise. Those are the values it takes to have a winning season, and the same values that power Saab's mission, keeping people and society safe. Hi, I'm David Howley, Project Manager for Saab in Northern Michigan. Saab is dedicated to being a responsible neighbor, a reliable employer, a steward of the environment, and a proud supporter of Northern Michigan High School athletics. Saab in Northern Michigan.
Stop in to Jim Wernig GMC to check out all the new GMC models. From the smooth and quiet ride of the GMC Sierra to a great selection of SUVs to include the Acadia, Terrain, and Yukon. No matter what your needs and budget, you'll find the right GMC to check all the boxes. All this and an amazing service department, sales team, and finance group makes shopping Jim Wernig GMC in Gaylord the best choice. Visit WernigGMC.com. GMC. We are professional grade.
Do you know a Northern Michigan woman positively impacting our community? The Traverse City Record Eagle has opened nominations for our 5th annual Influential Women of Northern Michigan publication. We'll celebrate women making a positive impact and creating positive change in our community. Submit your nominee now for their chance to be honored as one of the 2025 Influential Women of Northern Michigan. Now through August 31st at record-eagle.com/NMI Women. Record-eagle.com/NMI Women.
Michigan Firemen's Memorial Festival is one of the best fall events in Northern Michigan. Head to the Roscommon County Fire Training Grounds Friday and Saturday, September 19th and 20th. There's live music and dancing in the Big Red Barn, the Lion's Chicken Barbecue, water ball and rescue competitions, and a parade. See current and antique emergency vehicles, including a Coast Guard helicopter, vendors, refreshments, and kids' activities. It's all at the 46th Annual Firemen's Memorial Festival in Roscommon, September 19th and 20th.
Summer at Benetham's means dining on their gorgeous outdoor patio, and the 4 to 6 p.m. happy hour menu is a fantastic way to sample many different flavors at one sitting. Visit Benethams.com and make your reservation. Benetham's, for the true love of food.
If you're worried about the cost of continuing your education or where your talents lie, the Michigan Army National Guard has most of the answers. Your participation in a few yearly training exercises will make you stronger and part of a patriotic team. You will also receive up to $50,000 in scholarships towards your education, including training and placement in exciting tech and medical fields. Build your future and support your country. Apply to miarmyguard.com. That's miarmyguard.com.
Jim Wernick Chevrolet in Gaylord is proud to help you tackle every season with total confidence. Whether you hit the trails in a rugged Silverado or explore northern Michigan in a fuel-efficient Equinox, Wernick has the perfect Chevy for you. The Wernick Quick Lube conveniently keeps you on the road, and if something more serious happens, the award-winning service department will find the problem and fix it fast. Visit ChevyCentral.com or in Gaylord at Jim Wernick Chevy. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Up North Sports Radio and JetBlue want to send you on a TVC Tiger takeoff to Beantown. Get registered to win round-trip airfare for two, a 3-night hotel stay, and 2 tickets to see the Tigers take on the Red Sox Friday, September 26th at the legendary Fenway Park. The winner will fly with a guest from TVC in Traverse City to Logan International in Boston on Thursday, September 25th. Spend 3 nights at the 4-star Hilton Boston Back Bay Hotel and head to Fenway Park for the Tigers and the Red Sox. You can even take a day to see the sights of Boston before a Sunday return flight on JetBlue. Get to UpNorthSportsRadio.com to register for the Up North Sports Radio TVC Tiger Takeoff to Beantown before midnight September 7th, or register in person wherever you see Up North Sports Radio this summer. Other restrictions apply. Get all the details at UpNorthSportsRadio.com. 101.1 WGRY.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you in part by Jim Wernick GMC in Gaylord. Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne in studio, and our hot matchup of the week this past week brought to you by Saab. Trust, drive, and expertise in Northern Michigan was Traverse City Central and Novi, and head coach Eric Shiggers joining us now. And coach, I tell you, you had the long road trip down to Novi, and you guys certainly were road warriors and took care of business with a huge 46-3 win.
Yeah, thanks. Our kids responded well, after a long road trip like that.
Yeah.
We had a little slow start, had a little bit of adversity, and kind of overcome with turnover, and then, holding them to 3 points at the beginning of the game there, and then our offense got going, and we got on the board with a couple scores, and it felt good going into halftime. And the second half, it started clicking, and just proud of our effort and our consistency in that game.
Yeah, Coach, as far as leaders on your team, do you have quite a few seniors on this year's team?
Yeah, we do. 20 guys, 20 seniors. That's pretty good chunk of our, like 40-man roster there. So juniors and sophomores as well.
Yeah, sure.
And a lot of those guys had a lot of playing time as juniors last year, and so it's one of those that you lean on your seniors, lean on your leaders, and those guys understand, being a senior in a high school football team and wanting that success, and they're committed to the process. So it's just a great group.
It is, Coach. Of course, one of your running backs is on the all-name team, Rutger Feeney. That kid was born to be a running back.
Oh, yeah. No, Rucker, as our offense goes, he's going to go. And Isaac Turnwald, our quarterback, being a junior and a second-year starter, it starts with him. But Rutger Feeney in a run game, he got 90 yards rushing the other day. Just consistent, a slashy runner, and also plays free safety for us. So, he's a dynamic back, and he just makes plays. He makes guys miss, and he also makes great decisions. He's got great vision, and so he's a fun guy to watch. And certainly with Isaac and our other weapons, our offense can get clicking in a hurry.
Well, Coach, obviously you executed the game plan very well. Novi, traditionally a very good power. They probably had 7,000 people at the game. So what were you most proud of, or just how you put together the game plan and how it ended up playing out on the field?
I think with week one, and week one opponent, and then Novi is a brand new opponent. We had signed a 2-year contract with them back in the winter. So, you basically, you do a little research on them, and they had a strong senior class last year, so we knew they were graduating quite a bit.
Okay.
But it's just a matter of a new place, new team, and just preparing. When you talk about a team for 8 months, like week one's got, week one, they're on the clock for 8 months,
Right.
So you're focused on them, and you're talking about them, and you're preparing them in the preseason in the first weeks, and it's just a great feeling to go and execute like the way we did, and and just like I told the kids too, we got a lot of adversity. Things didn't go our way right away, so how do you respond? You're going to run into situations like that all year long. So I was just proud of our kids and how they responded and bounced back right away, and they basically got it rolling after that.
Well, that makes it for a hell of a lot better bus ride back. That's a long ride.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, traditionally Traverse City Central in years past has had some size along the offensive and defensive lines. Is that continue on this year?
We're not very big up front. I think our biggest guys are around 250.
Wow.
So you don't have some of those big offensive linemen. The linemen we do have are pretty tough. We got a lot of 225-pound kids, and they're strong. We have a great weight room, and Coach Glee, the Glee brothers, they do a phenomenal job in our weight room and preparing our kids. And so our kids are stout. They're tough kids, right. And they may not have 280-pound frames, but that's all right. I'll take our guys in any game, going forward. So I'm just pleased with them because the consistency of that, and we want to run an up tempo, and we want to get going. We want to tire you out. So
sure,
that's something we practice and we strive on, and our kids certainly responded to that, and they like that fact we can get up and go.
Yeah, coaches. So if playing that up tempo, those defenses better be ready to play again and again and again because you're coming every single play.
Yeah, and that's an important part, and that's a part of our offense, and sometimes that can be to your advantage if you practice that way. And we're not always up tempo, but when we need to be, we can be.
Coach, who do you got next week?
We're another long road trip, so we go Novi, and we're all the way down to Jackson, Parma Western. So,
wow. Okay.
So we're way down in Jackson, another 3.5-hour trip, but they were 1-0. They beat Jackson the opening weekend, so we'll go down there and have another test, and I'm looking forward to that.
Is that a Friday game?
Yeah, it's a Friday. So now we're back on Friday night football schedule. So.
Yeah, last week we had 2 weeks in a row of Thursday. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Coach, Josh Burnham, who graduated under your tutelage here a few years ago, is starting defensive end for Notre Dame. That kid just continues to impress. He had a couple of sacks in the national championship game last year, and just real impressive in watching him continue to grow in his collegiate career.
Yeah, he's just an amazing young man. He's a very humble human being, but just his work ethic and I'm just proud of him and everything he's done. He's just put a lot of time and energy into growing and getting better as a person and as a football player at Notre Dame. He's just been thriving in that environment, and I'm just proud of him. It's great to see him with that success. And, Sunday night they get to go down to Miami and play, so that'll be a fun start to their season.
The Catholics versus the convicts.
Yeah,
that's the old one again. You bet. There's a lot of tradition in that game.
Yeah, no doubt, Coach. Yeah, I really key in on number 40, again, Josh Burnham, all game long, Coach. And, again, he's continuing to just grow in that defensive end position. And he's put on some muscle, and, I was really looking forward to that game.
Yeah, he's up to he's 6'4" and approaching 265 now. So he's done he's done a lot to just make himself physically and mentally ready, and it's going to be fun to watch. Plus, I just saw something on social media. They did an Under Armour advertisement, and he got some airtime in that Under Armour advertisement. So a little plug for Joshua. So seek him out there. Seek him out there in that advertisement they did.
I will.
There's probably a couple of dollars behind that.
Yeah,
so,
sure. That NIL,
it'll go a long way in South Bend. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it will. No doubt about it.
Yep. Well, Coach, congratulations on a huge win, a great way to start the season, and best of luck next week against Parma Western.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys, and love the fact that I'm talking to you. That must mean it's football season, and it's always more fun to talk to you after a win, that's for sure. So appreciate what you guys do for high school football and supporting the Trojans, and as always, go Trojans.
All right, go Trojans,
Congratulations, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
You bet. Thanks.
Yep, Eric Sugars from Traverse City Central. Yeah, obviously super fired up for that huge win down there against Novi. But all right, JAC, when we come back, we're going to have a first-timer on. Mike Kosaski from the head coach of the Grayling Vikings. They got not to the start that they wanted to necessarily, but they had a tough opponent. But we'll talk to Mike Kosaski when we come back. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Jim Wernig, Chevrolet, and GMC.
It's time to announce the Michigan Army National Guard Student Athlete of the Week here on Up North Sports Radio. If you're worried about the cost of continuing your education, build your future, and support your country, apply to miarmyguard.com. miarmyguard.com.
Hi, this is Sergeant Klein from the Michigan Army National Guard, recruiter for the Grayling area. I'm proud to announce that the Michigan Army National Guard Student Athlete of the Week is Miles Mead from the Grayling High School Vikings. Congratulations, Miles. I'll be dropping by Grayling High School with some National Guard swag just for you. Visit miarmyguard.com to set your career in motion.
Congratulations to the Michigan Army National Guard Student Athlete of the Week here on Up North Sports Radio's High School Scoreboard Show. If you're worried about the cost of continuing your education, build your future, and support your country, apply to miarmyguard.com.
Jim Wernig Chevrolet in Gaylord is proud to help you tackle every season with total confidence. Whether you hit the trails in a rugged Silverado or explore northern Michigan in a fuel-efficient Equinox, Wernig has the perfect Chevy for you. The Wernig Quick Lube conveniently keeps you on the road, and if something more serious happens, the award-winning service department will find the problem and fix it fast. Visit ChevyCentral.com or in Gaylord at Jim Wernig Chevy. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Gear up for adventure. It's the Hunt and Haul giveaway at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. in July, August, and September. One lucky winner will be drawn to receive $1,000 cash and grand prize bonus entries every hour. On September 27th at 11 p.m., the grand prize winner drives off with the ultimate haul. A new truck, toy hauler, UTV, and $5,000 gift card to Frank's Great Outdoors. Only at Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit Saginaw-EaglesLanding.com for complete rules and details.
Don't let summer pass you by without a trip to the best seasonal restaurants in the North. Make your first stop, QDealsMI.com, and get $25 gift cards from Tacos Lupe or Wimpy's Ice Cream and Eats in Grayling for just $15. Then enjoy 40% off every time you slide into Tacos Lupe for fresh handmade Mexican specialties or Wimpy's for hand-dipped ice cream treats. There's no limit, so get enough gift cards at QDealsMI.com to last the whole summer at Tacos Lupe and Wimpy's. QDealsMI.com. Tune in to the Northern Michigan High School Scoreboard Show, Saturdays at 10 for the Student Athlete of the Week, presented by the Michigan Army National Guard. Always ready, always there. 101.1 WGRY, Up North Sports Radio.
Do you know a Northern Michigan woman positively impacting our community? The Traverse City Record Eagle has opened nominations for our 5th annual Influential Women of Northern Michigan publication. We'll celebrate women making a positive impact and creating positive change in our community. Submit your nominee now for their chance to be honored as one of the 2025 Influential Women of Northern Michigan. Now through August 31st at record-eagle.com/NMI Women. Record-eagle.com/NMI Women.
Stop in to Jim Warnick GMC to check out all the new GMC models, from the smooth and quiet ride of the GMC Sierra to a great selection of SUVs to include the Acadia, Terrain, and Yukon. No matter what your needs and budget, you'll find the right GMC to check all the boxes. All this and an amazing service department, sales team, and finance group makes shopping Jim Warnick GMC in Gaylord the best choice. Visit WarnickGMC.com. GMC. We are professional grade.
Just like Northern Michigan High School athletes, Saab relies on trust, drive, and expertise. Those are the values it takes to have a winning season, and the same values that power Saab's mission, keeping people and society safe. Hi, I'm David Howley, Project Manager for Saab in Northern Michigan. Saab is dedicated to being a responsible neighbor, a reliable employer, a steward of the environment, and a proud supporter of Northern Michigan High School athletics. Saab in Northern Michigan.
Hear all the Tiger baseball action on WGRY 101 Up North Sports Radio and home of Tigers baseball. Brought to you in part by Roscommon Auto Recyclers on Federal Highway in Roscommon and at roscommonautorecyclers.com.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you in part by Jim Warnick Chevrolet in Gaylord. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. And joining us now is the head coach of the Grayling Vikings, Mike Kosowski. Well, Mike, first varsity coaching experience here as the head coach. You had a tough opponent in Clare. Why don't you came up on the short end of a 39-21 score. But, Coach, talk about that game a little bit.
Thank you guys for having me on, Rich and JC. I appreciate it. First head game you had as a head coach, and definitely a tough opponent in Clare. Going into the season, they're ranked and definitely knew what we had coming in, that they were going to try to beat us with speed, and they definitely kind of did that. And we knew that if we couldn't contain their speed, that would be an issue for us. Now, obviously, they put some points on the board early, but I liked how our boys responded in the end of the game. In last year's game, it was a 57-6 blowout. And again, last year, a lot of they have returning kids, and their speed was their focus last year as well, too. So to see our kids kind of respond and see what they gave us in the end of the game and in the second quarter, when they kind of got their nerves settled in, just like their head coach, I think they responded very well. Obviously, we came up short in the end of the game, but it shows them what we have coming for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, Coach, now, but you've been a part of the Grayling coaching staff for a long time.
Yeah, this is my 11th season. I've been here.
Yeah.
I've spent all 10 of my seasons here at Grayling since I've been teaching as well.
Yeah, and that's...
What do you mean? So you started coaching when you were 14?
Thank you. I'm 34, but yeah. I'm 34, young coach, but since I got my job at Grayling, I started as a DB coach. Yep. And then took over as defensive coordinator about 7 years ago, and then obviously moved into the head coaching role.
Yeah. Mike was on the coaching staff when McCord and I were still calling Grayling games.
Wow. So you followed in the footsteps of Kevin O'Connell, who was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Coach O'Connell up in Grayling. Yep. Or up in Gaylord, St. Mary's. Yep.
Yeah, we had him on early on in the show. Yeah. Coach, you mentioned how nervous were you? Was it a queasy stomach? Even though you've been on the staff a long time, your first game as a head coach, what was?
I would say, honestly, just getting up to the game. I'd say there was a lot of emotion getting to the game, but going through my game routine, getting stuff prepared, getting the boys prepared. Kind of settled me in, just, realizing that what I told the boys, preparation eases anxiety, and I think that's what I told the boys all week long. And then right before the game started, I said, we're prepared. We're prepared to what we need to do. We know how to execute, and if we execute properly, then we should have no anxiety. And I think that helped me calm myself down and the boys as well. Obviously, we missed on execution, but we're a young team. We got a young coaching staff, and we'll respond come this week.
Yeah, now, Coach, obviously you come from the defensive side of the ball, being the D coordinator for a long time. Is that kind of what you think this Grayling team's going to hang their hat on for a while, or are you really kind of happy with the progression of the offense as well?
I'm happy with our passing. Our passing game was pretty good. Our rushing games need to improve if we need to get more points on the board. And obviously our defensive game, I'm happy with it. We just didn't execute, obviously, with the speed, and we didn't contain the edge enough. And I said their speed was they're a really elusive team. But I think it's a mixture of both. For us to go where we want to go, we have to be a balanced defense-offense team.
Yeah, and Coach, as you know, that game speed is real. You can scrimmage all you want, you can practice against each other all you want, but when those Friday night lights come up, even on a Thursday night, there's a huge difference between the speed.
For sure.
Coach, thanks for sending us stats for the game. So Miles was 16 out of 31 for 179 yards, a TD and a pick. But and ran the ball pretty well as well. So a lot of the offense is going to be revolving around Miles, obviously.
Yeah, he did an excellent job, and we readjusted stats a little bit because the one INT actually got called back for roughing the passer. But yeah, those are pretty close too. During the game, we have a great stat guy that keeps track of the game, and then we go back through and just make sure everything's dotted I's and T's afterwards. But yeah, those are pretty close. Miles, he started the game off a little slow, and then he settled right in where we need him to be. He made the reads that we needed to make, and then obviously he showed his speed with his feet, and that he can actually lower his shoulder and then get in either a first down or get into the end zone if we need him to.
Yeah. Now, Mike, who's all on your coaching staff this year?
So it's myself, and then I have Justin Nicholas as my offensive coordinator, and then my assistant coaches are Devin Dawson, who is a Grayling alumni.
Sure.
Zach Osga, who's also a Grayling alumni. He's my running backs coach. Josh Aldridge, he's also a Grayling alumni. I brought back Jim Gendernalik. He's a head football coach from Mayo. He was my head football coach.
Sure.
He's helping me this year as well. And then my JV coaches are Chris Kaharick, Ethan Kaharick, and Randy Herman.
Okay. Oh no! You got a good mix there, Coach. Like you said, a lot of those kids played football for Grayling. There, they know what it's all about. Some of them are record holders. So that's a lot of experience there.
Yep.
Coach, breaking down the stats a little bit, it looks like you probably really want to get. I mean, obviously, I don't have any defensive stuff, and you hang your hat on the defense. But it looks like you need to get more production out of your running backs.
For sure. Obviously, our run game wasn't really where we wanted it to be. Claire was pretty good at deceiving as far as what they were going to do defensively, and we prepared for a different front all week, and that kind of tripped us up, and we got a 4-3 box. But obviously, this week we'll prepare for that. We're more focused on perfection, I guess I'd say this year. Making sure that the plays that we have, we know how to run well. So we'll get back to that, and we'll guarantee that our boys will be ready for the front that I see next week, and any fronts that they might adjust to after that.
Yeah, and
I think that's a big focus.
Yep, and Coach, you play Benzie Central back at home here next week. They lost a tough one to Frankfurt. What do you know about Benzie?
I've already broken down the film. I spent all day yesterday looking at that. So I already spent doing that. They're a team that they're going to try to run on the edge as well.
Yeah.
They have a big back who's their center on their defense as well. Not their center on the defense. He's their linebacker. He finds the ball real well on defense, kind of like our number 34 Ryan Stadium and number 9 Noah Gabriel. Those guys did both really well on our defensive side this last game. But yeah, they're double set, so they're spread out kind of like us, which we're kind of used to. So it's, again, 2 weeks in a row we're used to seeing their offense, so we'll be able to attack that how we want. And like I said, I've already got some stuff planned up for what they want to do.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of excitement around the program, Mike, and we really do appreciate you joining us here on the Scoreboard Show.
Yeah, thank you. And then I wanted to shout out to Viking Nation, and don't think I didn't notice the packed crowds on Friday nights. Probably one of the most packed I've ever seen, so I appreciate the support.
Yeah, oh, that's great. All right, go Vikes.
Thank you.
Yep. Mike Kosowski, head coach of the Grayling Vikings. Mike,
is young. I mean,
he's a young
I met him a couple of weeks ago, and he looks like he's 21, maybe.
I know. Yeah,
I think he was buying a six-pack of beer, and they didn't believe his ID. Like,
yeah, real fiery guy, you know, obviously, and coming from that defensive side, most D coordinators are, you know, but yeah, he's super excited to take over the helm of the Grayling Vikings, and it's really a real good matchup next week against Benzie Central, for sure.
You know, hopefully they get the W, and
yep.
Of course, you can hear every one of those Viking games on our sister station 100.3 and streaming on Q100 Michigan. So, you know, the godparents and grandparents and alumni that have moved out of the area, those games get streamed quite a bit.
It's amazing. Yeah, the people that follow, and what we found out with a ton of people from Novi were checking in. Novi from Howell were following, because again, they're looking to see their kids and not do the 3-hour road trip.
It's a tough drive, and luckily for you guys, that game, the big matchup, our Saab hot matchup of the
of next week is going to be for the Coast Guard Cup as Traverse City West hosts Grand Haven.
Yeah, I'm sure you're glad you don't have to make that drive.
Yeah, I'm glad for sure. A game that West won last year, so looking to continue that, as that will be the last time we play those guys in a few years. So when we come back, JC, we'll have a recorded interview with James Wagner, head coach at Traverse City West, talk about the game that we just played this last week. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Jim Wernig, GMC in Gaylord.
Jim Wernig Chevrolet in Gaylord is proud to help you tackle every season with total confidence. Whether you hit the trails in a rugged Silverado or explore Northern Michigan in a fuel-efficient Equinox, Wernig has the perfect Chevy for you. The Wernig Quick Lube conveniently keeps you on the road, and if something more serious happens, the award-winning service department will find the problem and fix it fast. Visit ChevyCentral.com or in Gaylord at Jim Wernig Chevy. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
The all-new Mahindra 1100 and 2100 compact tractors are tougher and smarter than anything else out there. With reliable diesel power, our best-ever lift capacity, easy-to-use dual-pedal HST, and built-in tech like crank assist, a push-button PTO, and a handy companion app, Mahindra is outworking the field. Head to your local dealer now to get great deals on these all-new tractors.
Visit your Mahindra dealer at Zaremba Equipment in Gaylord or online at zarembaequipment.com or Pioneer Diesel in Traverse City or pioneerdiesel.com.
Now, Bob has told this story once a year for at least 5 years. We could stop him, of course, but it's more fun to just smile and laugh and order another round. This is Room 94, Petoskey's newest tap room. Here you'll discover something for everyone, a crafted selection of the best beer and bourbon, an outdoor patio, and an amazing tavern-style menu. This is where great stories begin. Room 94, located at Odawa Casino, Petoskey.
When your vehicle needs body work, don't you wish you had someone in the family to repair it? That would be great, but most people don't. So why not choose a company that treats you like family? Choose Jim's Collision in Roscommon. Collision repairs can be stressful. Add in insurance details and it can be downright confusing. Jim's Collision makes it easy with excellent repairs, competitive prices, and they'll work with your insurance company. Choosing Jim's is easy because they've got family too. ChooseJims.com.
If you're worried about the cost of continuing your education or where your talents lie, the Michigan Army National Guard has most of the answers. Your participation in a few yearly training exercises will make you stronger and part of a patriotic team. You will also receive up to $50,000 in scholarships towards your education, including training and placement in exciting tech and medical fields. Build your future and support your country. Apply to miarmyguard.com. That's miarmyguard.com. Stop in to Jim Wernig GMC to check out all the new GMC models. From the smooth and quiet ride of the GMC Sierra to a great selection of SUVs to include the Acadia, Terrain, and Yukon. No matter what your needs and budget, you'll find the right GMC to check all the boxes. All this and an amazing service department, sales team, and finance group makes shopping Jim Wernig GMC in Gaylord the best choice. Visit WernigGMC.com. GMC. We are professional grade.
Welcome back to the America's Carpet Barn post-game show. Rich Calkin joined by James Wagner, head coach at TC West. And Coach, I know the final score, 23-13 there, looked like a bigger win for Howell than what was portrayed on that field, because I tell you what, that was a hard-fought, tough ball game opening up the season.
Yeah, it was. I'm definitely proud of the effort from the players. I mean, we don't have a super huge team at our varsity level this year, but they're tough, and I really like the guys that we have, and they're competitors all the way through, and there's a lot of good pieces in there. There's a lot of young pieces out there too, and I just think it was a night to learn from. There's a lot of mistakes. I kind of expect that game one. A lot of mistakes to be fixed moving forward.
Right.
And I think, that's going to happen when you have some, younger guys on the field, and, that's just the way it goes sometimes. So we got to correct some things moving forward, but that's why they call it a season. One game is not indicative of an entire season. So, plenty to be excited about moving forward. There's plenty of good things that happened tonight. But we just got to clean up all the things that were not good, and we'll do that. We'll get back to work tomorrow, and get ready for next week, because it's going to come quick, and we don't have a lot of time to make those corrections. So, but proud of the effort, and proud of just not giving up all the way through.
Right. Coach, a lot of sophomores playing on varsity this year,
yeah.
And one of them is your starting quarterback, Braden Tillman. And I thought he played well.
He did.
There was a couple of mistakes, of course. Again, for a sophomore, you expect that, but you can see the ability there. He can really throw the ball.
Yeah.
He throws the tight spirals, got a strong arm, and I think definitely the future is bright with him. For sure.
He's definitely a special talent. I mean, he's, as a sophomore being pulled up, he's definitely got the ability to throw it anywhere on the field, and you saw that tonight. I think he's going to have an incredible, bright future with some nice, really good pieces around him. A couple different sophomores out there like Luca Dumont and Sawyer Kirchner making some plays tonight.
Right.
And, it's just that the future's bright for sure. But, we want to win now.
Sure.
And it's possible for this team. It's just a matter of fixing and correcting our mistakes and, playing to our strengths. And I think we got off course a little bit just from, the beginning of a safety and having to kind of adjust our game plan a little bit. But, just little things here and there that we need to improve on, systematically with our – and that's on me, and that's on our staff to be able to come together and make it better for the kids. And I think our defense played really, really well tonight.
Yes.
They're on the field a lot, and we got to be a little bit more balanced all the way through. But they played their hearts out. I mean, Drew had, I think, 100 tackles tonight. So.
It's every time. I mean, we sound like a broken record.
Yeah.
Drew Esper and another. So many of them were solo tackles too.
Yeah. I mean, our defense designed it. I mean, that kid's a special talent as a linebacker and safety, and he sees the field differently than most, and it was on display tonight defensively for him, and he's going to be doing a lot of that stuff all year, which is awesome.
A couple of big picks defensively. Cameron Menken the first half had that big pick, and then also Aiden Jacobs had an INT, and then also 2 big touchdowns as well.
Yeah,
a third one called back, but
that was tough. That we were saving that play, and we were ready to run it, and I was thinking about calling a timeout, and I guess the guy on the other side of the field thought that I had signaled a timeout, and so he blew the whistle.
Okay, it sounded faint. We didn't know if it was coming from the stands or what, but half the players were going on with the play, half weren't. It was kind of a weird situation.
It was, and it was a bummer. We were excited about that play, and obviously it hit and it didn't count. So, but you can't. I mean, mistakes happen, and you got to be able to respond.
Sure.
Move on, and just keep plugging forward. So, that stuff happens, and that's the way it goes sometimes. But ball didn't fall our way tonight. There's definitely different times. I think the ball was on the ground 6 times for them. Through fumbles, and we couldn't get one of those, and we just didn't catch a break in that regard. So that was a bummer. But we just got to be able to fix our mistakes and move forward.
Coach, we named Drew Esper as our Fox Motors motivated player of the game. Like you said, it seemed like he was in on 100 tackles. Yeah, 23, and he threw that touchdown pass, in the fourth quarter. Incredible. So you have to come up with a Jimmy John's player of the game.
Well, I'd have to give it to Aiden Jacobs with 1 interception, 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good game for him.
It sure is.
Yeah,
his first varsity contest, right?
He's going to be a special player. I mean, he's big target there, and having him and Drew on the field offensively at the same time is dangerous.
You see 2 weapons there that you can put on the outside and move them around. There's some nice chess pieces there for sure.
And there's a lot of other complementary pieces in there as well. So I'm excited about our season here.
Yeah,
it was just a tough night for us, and we came up short, and that's the way she goes. So.
Yeah, and next Friday, we play for the Coast Guard Cup against Grand Haven.
Yeah, it's the last time. This is the last of Grand Haven.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
We definitely would like to keep that trophy.
Right.
And show out better next week. I think the kids are all understanding the fact of we left a lot of things out there on the table tonight, and they're eager to come back and get ready to work because you only got 9 games of these guaranteed, and you got to make each one count.
For sure. All right, looking forward to it, Coach. We'll see you next Friday night, and as always, go Titans.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, head coach James Wagner there talking about, and he mentioned it just a little bit, that Grand Haven Traverse City West game will be the hot matchup of the week, brought to you by Saab, keeping people safe through strength in northern Michigan.
Yeah, and TC Central heading out, so they're on the road first 2 weeks.
Yes.
West home 2 weeks.
Getting those long road trips out of the way early in the season.
It sounds like that Saginaw Valley Conference is going to be a gauntlet this year.
No question, JC, as Midland got off to a real nice win as well. They're going to be a team to contend with. Midland Dow won their first game. Mount Pleasant won. So it's going to be loaded for sure. And both Bay City teams, Central and Western, won their first games.
Oh, boy.
So those will be
They have
interesting.
been cupcakes last few years.
They have. The last couple of years, they've been struggling with numbers and all of that, but every year's a new year. You never know. Looking forward to Bay City Western. When Coach was talking about a field out in the middle of cornfields, Bay City Western is exactly that. You're driving through the Children of the Corn, and boom, here's the football stadium. So it's great. JJ and I are up top, and we're just looking at a bunch of corn. And so, but yeah, looking forward to those road trips here this year for sure.
Didn't we have? Is Gaylord and Alpena this coming week?
Let me see. Coming up this next Friday night. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't have those matchups.
I thought that's what James Cook said yesterday. That
I knew it would. I know it's coming up here soon, and he said that obviously is going to be a real interesting one.
Yeah.
Because again, Alpena played tough last night against Boyne, but just could not come up with the win. So again, in a hard-fought game, for sure. So that score of 18-13 against a good Boyne team. So Boyne always tough for sure.
We didn't give out all the we had a couple other games in the area.
We did, yeah. Again, just before we went on the air with Coach Kevin O'Connell from St. Mary's, we had just mentioned that Bear Lake, they've been struggling to get some wins in the past couple of years, but they got a huge win to start their season, 54-0 over Bel Air. That's in 8-man football as well. Mesick took it on the chin. They played a team called Brown City. Do not know where that is at, but Mesick lost 46-0. Roger City beat Granville Calvin Christian 24-8. So good win for them. And Manton started off the year with a shutout victory, 44-0 over Vestaburg.
Yeah.
So good win for Manton there as well.
Well, it'll be a little easier for us going forward with all the games happening on Friday.
That's exactly right.
Like I said, I'm glad we don't have 2 weeks in a row of
Thursdays.
games.
And yeah, exactly. It kind of is hard to get into a rhythm then of our matchups of the week because we have games that have already played and all that. So, no, looking forward to the traditional Friday nights now throughout the rest of the year, for sure.
The teams that we follow closely, obviously Weston Grayling, coming off losses.
Yeah.
You want to right the ship as early as possible.
You absolutely. You want to put one in the win column quickly. Of course, Coach Kosaski there at Grayling for sure. Another home game for them, just like West, back-to-back home games to start the year.
Yep.
You want to get that win, and West wants to, obviously, in the worst way, to beat Grand Haven, hang on to that Coast Guard Cup, the life ring. From now until eternity, and
do we know what Grand Haven did in their opener?
Oh, let me see. I will find out momentarily here.
Because traditionally they're a very good football team.
Yes, yeah, very good. Yeah, a lot of good athletes, and it's really wild. A team that did not a couple of years ago when we were down there did not have a JV program for a school that had almost 2,000 students in their high school, and they did start off with a 38-0 win over Stevensville Lakeshore.
Okay.
So they're coming off they have yet to be scored upon in that shutout victory. So they're coming up with some confidence for sure. West, we know they're preparing hard, and James Wagner and the rest of the crew will certainly have them.
If it doesn't take you too long, who's St. Francis got next week?
Okay, yeah, I can check that out momentarily here. I have to go back just a little bit here. It's going to take me just a second.
I'm sure that this is one of those seasons that Coach Josh Sellers, who I'm sure we'll have on next week or soon after that, is probably got their sights set on getting back to Ford Field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no question, for sure. Yeah, Coach Sellers there for sure, fired up. He's got a team that is they
got a lot of seniors this year.
Yeah. That's, they were very young last year, for sure. And so let's see when I can just pull up. Just taking me a
don't worry about it, Rich.
I'm gonna get it here.
No,
mission almost accomplished here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I thought your master program would be faster.
Yeah,
than that.
you would think. But okay, they play Ogama Heights.
There you go.
Away. So that on the road to a very tough Division 5 team.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Ogama Heights has been really good the last couple of years. I don't know if they continue to reload or if it's one of those down years because the last 2 years that has been a truly physical football team.
Yeah, not traditionally big. I mean, they're big kids, but the past couple they haven't been, but they're tough as nails.
Yeah, they've been bulldogs. So, yeah. Well, one of those teams is going to feel really good about themselves.
That's for
after
sure.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, they for sure. So. But what do we got coming up on 101.1 today?
Well, we don't have Michigan football tonight. Usually we have to run away from this to start the Michigan pregame, but they're playing a night game. I don't know how it was determined that the Michigan is playing a night game against New Mexico to start the season, angering most of the alumni that I know.
Yes.
So that game you can hear on 100.3.
Okay.
Tiger baseball will be here at 7:10 tonight. Yeah. So that's why the Michigan slides over there. Yeah. So we're just going to head into sports talk from Infinity Broadcasting, and I don't know what we don't have live football here today. So
yeah, we do not, but we do appreciate you tuning in to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you in part by Jim Wernig Chevrolet and GMC in Gaylord.
This has been the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show, brought to you in part by Jim Wernig GMC in Gaylord, dedicated to the best customer service and the best offers. Join us next Saturday at 10 with host Rich Calkins. Nobody loves high school sports like Up North Sports Radio.
And I think there's a reason for that, right? We start with this. Established quarterbacks top teams. You don't really have them. Title contenders, Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Notre Dame, they are all going to be breaking in new quarterbacks that don't have much experience. So that lack of firepower of returning players is really good news for a Garrett Nussmeier if LSU can only lose a game or something like that this season. It's great news for Arch Manning. The other thing I would say is typically you don't want to bet on a wide receiver to win this award. Even last year, obviously, we had Travis Hunter win this thing, but I think largely because he was a two-way player. But 2 of the last 5 winners have played receiver. Is there a changing of the guard with voters? Are they seeing the game a little bit differently? They don't have the same metric tied to them of wins and losses that quarterbacks do. So if Ohio State loses today, as an example, but Jeremiah Smith, who's in the top 4 in terms of shortest odds, if he goes for 7 catches and 114 yards and a touchdown, then at the end of the year, that doesn't really get held against him the same way it would with a starting quarterback who lost that game. So that's intriguing to me. The only thing I would point out about today's storylines and the Heisman Trophy, I want to see if you agree with this. I think the one guy that could lose the award today is Cade Klubnik. And my argument for that is, if Clemson does not win against LSU tonight, I'm sorry, but there's not going to be a win on that resume or even a defensive performance, where he beat this team, fill in the blank. Like after this, their best games are Southern Methodist, South Carolina's fringe top 15 kind of team. I actually really like Lenora Sellers as well, who's on this board. But if you're Klubnik, especially in a poor performance, but let's say they lose today and he doesn't play a gem, he's okay or worse, I kind of think it's hard for me at the end of this year to look at his resume unless everybody else around him just kind of falls apart and make him my Heisman. He's the one guy I think with the most on the line in terms of being really hurt today if he plays poorly.
Well, I agree with that because I think that's just how it is for the team as well. Like, I think this is one Clemson really needs just in terms of their profile and their resume, even in the expanded college football playoff era. And certainly if they want to be considered one of the top-tier teams and the top seeds at the end of the season, they need this one against LSU. We will talk about LSU needing this for a lot of reasons as well, not just Nussmeier, but their head coach, Brian Kelly. I kind of agree with you with Klubnik, but it's more of a team thing there for me. I will say when I see Arch Manning as a favorite, there's 2 different ways you could view this at 5-1, and we'll see how this plays out today. But if you're someone that's convinced Texas is winning today, I find it hard to believe Texas wins without Arch Manning looking pretty good. And I'm not saying he has to throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns, but without him looking pretty good, I don't think Texas wins. So if you think Texas is winning, well, 5-1, are we going to see 6 o'clock tonight, or I guess 3 o'clock this afternoon? Are we going to see Texas's Arch Manning 2.5 to 1 already to win the Heisman? Now, if you think Ohio State's winning and Arch is going to struggle a little bit, all of a sudden, can I get Arch Manning at 9 to 1, 9.5 to 1, 10 to 1 later on this afternoon? And I'm not convinced that this early in the season, given the opponent, Arch Manning to me could still turn it around, put up crazy numbers, and come back, and all of a sudden I got a 10 to 1 ticket on Arch. So I guess what I'm saying is, as someone that believes Ohio State is going to win today, I'm not going to bet on Arch Manning right now to win the Heisman at 5-1. I think I get a better number and still can win that and cash that ticket later on in the year. I think he's got plenty of opportunity given the SEC schedule and the name and everything on his side.
It's a really good point. Only way the odds get shorter is if he deals in a win. But yeah, it might actually be the play to make is if they lose, especially if he looks okay and they lose, 5-1 is going to turn into, 7-1, 8-1, whatever that looks like this week. There's where you pounce. And that's also where he's probably not going to be the betting favorite going in. As an example, let's say Clemson beats LSU, which is very possible, and Klubnik deals in that game and lights it up and he throws a gem. Now he's, I'll make this up, but 6.5 to 1 or something like that. And he's now the favorite, right? And that's when all of a sudden you can't go with Arch Manning, the favorite in week 1 doesn't win kind of thing. Not to mention the better value. That's where you pounce on that if he played okay and Texas goes on to have a great rest of the season. And at the end of this thing, everybody's got 1 or 2 losses. His was in week 1 and he played pretty well, against Ohio State on the road. And now he's by far the favorite and you got him at pretty good value. So That might be best case scenario. What do you make of my thought on Jeremiah Smith, though? It's a sprinkle. This is not something I'm going hard in the paint on. But in a year where I think there's just less in terms of the returning quarterbacks at the powerhouse programs, and we've had 2 recent receivers, I think 10-1, maybe 11, 12-1 if you can find it and shop around a little bit. That to me is interesting for a guy who has a chance to have one of the bigger seasons we've seen from a receiver in a long, long time.
Yeah, Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams are the 2 wide receivers, and Ryan Williams, of course, is the young kid out of Alabama. Those are the 2 wide receivers that I would have interest in betting, and Williams is much further down the board. Smith has already done more and is the better wide receiver at this point in his career. I just struggle to see a wide receiver at this point winning it. I understand the stat you gave, 2 out of the last 5, and yes, Travis Hunter was the outlier because of it's not like he put up the wide receiver numbers as much as it was that he played 2 ways. I think Jeremiah Smith, the struggle I would have there is, well, then what's his quarterback doing this year? Like, if Jeremiah Smith goes out and has a great year, all of a sudden, what's his quarterback doing? Or is it going to be a team that is consistently all year in the top 5? If Ohio State goes out and wins today, it'll be number 1 in the country, probably, depending on how you view Ohio State, probably the rest of the season, or at least have a chance to be number 1 the rest of the season if they win today. Now, that helps Jeremiah Smith's case. I'm really not interested in betting him for this award. I think he's the best wide receiver in football, and he's going to win the Blittenkoff when it's over. But I don't believe Heisman is a market that I would be interested in with him. I think there's quarterbacks further down the board that I would bet first. You mentioned Lenore Sellers. I think he's intriguing at South Carolina. DJ Lagway at Florida. They're going to have some opportunity this year. He's another name. So it's just really tough as a wide receiver. I still think even in 2025, and given the quarterback field, while it seems so open, you know how this goes, Grant. Here in about 2 weeks, all of a sudden it's going to seem like everybody's kind of honed in on 3 quarterbacks that everybody's talking about. And 2 of them, or at least one of them, I should say, might be playing in the first game. And then Garrett Nussmeier is actually who I kind of like for this at 9-1 if you believe that LSU can get out of this first week funk. And let's talk about that game, Grant, because Clemson LSU, it's not till 7:30 on the East Coast tonight. That game over on ABC. Clemson is a 4-point favorite. The total sitting at 56.5. Brian Kelly has to have this game, man. He enters this season on a hot seat at LSU. It can change everything for him if they win this game. If they lose, and again, they're underdogs, they're not expected to win. If they lose this game, Brian Kelly for the rest of the season is going to be discussed as getting fired in season. Like it's just the way that this thing works when you're at LSU.
Yeah, at some point, they've just got to turn this thing around. And